Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Eric Mackey,
And I'm Christine Downs.
and we're trainers for Northeast PBIS. We're going to be talking about neutralizing routines. The content for this training was developed by Northeast PBIS and the Center on Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports. In the mini lesson about avoiding power struggles, we focused on key strategies, such as ways to intervene early when we start to notice a student escalating so that they don't need to reach a crisis point, ways to rearrange the environment around a student to reduce the need to reach a crisis point, and ways that we can provide students with alternate behaviors that they can use to meet their needs in appropriate, functional ways. In this mini lesson, we're going to focus on ways we can develop neutralizing routines that can help reduce the chance that we are contributing to a student's escalation and reduce the chance that we might provide consequences that are inappropriate to the situation. You may recall the example of Jason. If not, let's do a role play quickly. Christine, can you play the part of the teacher?
Hi, Jason. Can you please turn in your assignment?
What assignment?
The assignment we worked on yesterday in class and you didn't finish it.
Oh, I finished it.
Oh, great. Can you please turn it in?
Well, I don't have it on me now.
Okay, well, then you have a choice. You can either find it and turn it in, or you can do it again during review.
You never believe me.
Well, I guess you've made your choice to do it again then.
Make me.
Excuse me? That's disrespectful. You can go down to the office.
F you.
Move closer, put my hand on his shoulder.
I pull away, I glare, and raise my fist as if to strike. Okay, so we went from Jason not turning in an assignment to him raising his fist. Did we really need to get to this point? Or could we have done something to change the chain of events? As you can see, it takes two to tango. But where do we go from here? I like this quote. Christine, what does this statement mean for you?
Well, it means that when students get agitated and upset, it's really up to us as the adults in the building to stay calm and help them regain their calm.
Precisely. Just like our students, we need to have strategies in place to manage crises and power struggles. Our instinctual reactions during times of stress are to fight, flee, or freeze, none of which are really helpful in the situation of a student conflict or crisis. So we want to have some practiced strategies that are more functional for these situations. These strategies hopefully help us to remain or regain calm so that we can think clearly when we're trying to help students to manage their big emotions and behaviors. So we're going to introduce this concept of a neutralizing routine. The idea around a neutralizing routine is to counteract the stress reactions that can lead us towards making quick judgments. As our own stress increases, those quick judgments come from a need to be efficient with our thinking and our energy during times of crisis. In order to be efficient, these quick judgments are often based on our own personal learning histories, which can include our own implicit biases. Unfortunately, as we become more stressed, our ability to think rationally decreases. It's also during these moments of quick judgment that our implicit biases can influence who we react to and how we react to them. In the efforts of slowing down those judgment calls, we want to develop neutralizing routines to help us to think and respond rationally. When a student starts engaging in an undesirable behavior, like a power struggle, we need to start checking ourselves. Am I triggered or am I agitated? If so, what's triggering me? Is it my hunger, my lack of sleep, the student, the situation, or all of the above? If the answer is yes, then we need to use strategies to help us to slow down our natural fight, flight, or freeze reactions before we respond irrationally to the student. Let's go through an example. Christine, could you walk us through a difficult interaction you've had with a student before?
Right. Well, I have this one student who I don't have the best relationship with, although I try to work on it. So we don't have a lot of positive interactions. But she came in one day and sat down, and most of the students had got started on their do now, and I had greeted everyone and praised them for getting started. But she just sat down and started complaining. She complained about the do now and where she had to sit, and this was stupid, and on and on and on. And it was really frustrating me. I could even kind of feel myself starting to shake and my face turning red. And then she said something, some personal comment about me. And that was it. I had just had it with her, and I sent her out of the office and got her out of class.
So what would you say was the end result there?
Well, I got to remove her from class and she got to leave. So we both escaped the situation. But now she knows how to get under my skin in the future. And no one really learned anything proactive. So it really wasn't an effective interaction.
I appreciate your honesty here. These situations are never fun, but they certainly can happen. Let's see if we could try a neutralizing strategy. So once a student starts making her comments, let's do a self-assessment to see if you're triggered or agitated. Based on what you said your face and was doing and the reddening of your face and your shaking hands, you could probably have said in that situation, yep, I'm agitated. What could you have done as an alternate response?
Right. I probably should have just stopped, taken a couple of deep breaths because I know I was getting agitated. I could have clearly stated the expectations to her about getting started. I could have given her a choice, but then I probably should have walked away, engaged with another student, and maybe come back around to her.
Gotcha. Any chance you have a co-teacher?
I do have a TA in my room on some days. So if she was there, I could have asked her to step in and maybe step out myself while I was so agitated.
Great. When creating a neutralizing routine, it should be brief and feasible with clear steps. It's tough to remember and follow a lengthy plan when you're frustrated. It should involve an if-then statement for staff to ask themselves, such as, am I feeling agitated, frustrated, angry with the student, or in general right now? If yes, then I need to use my neutralizing routine plan, or my chill out plan, or whatever you want to call it. It should interrupt the chain of events so that the teacher can disengage from the power struggle. A good routine should have elements of delaying, reframing, and self-care. For example, one routine might be to 1, take 2 deep breaths to calm down, 2, validate the student's feelings but redirect the behavior, and 3, give time for the student to follow directions and/or set a time to follow up with the student later. Another example might be to 1, take 2 deep breaths, 2, quietly say to student, Samantha, I can see you're frustrated, but what you are saying and doing right now is not respectful behavior in this school. Please get started on your do now and do as much as you can. I'll come back within a few minutes to see how you're doing. And if you want, we can talk after class about what is bothering you. Christine, what do you think? What's another option we could try?
Well, I have an example from when I used to work in a group home. I worked with adolescent girls who would often use really high-pitched whining when they were upset or agitated. And that was one of the things that just pushed my buttons and would get me frustrated. So when they would come in using that kind of tone, I would say to them, and I would have to practice this myself, to say, I can't understand you when you use that high frequency. Calm down, let's take a breath together. And I would have to bring their emotions down while also keeping my emotions from getting out of hand. Sometimes I'd ask them to go take a little break, and as soon as they were calm, they could come in and talk to me, that I was here and ready to listen to them. So same 3 steps, delaying, getting into the situation, reframing it, letting them know I was here for them, and then taking those deep breaths to calm down.
Great. And it sounds like you had your own kind of mantra, which brings us into our next slide here. A nice and simple acronym you can use for your neutralizing routine is TRY. T for take a deep breath. For some people, it might be a long deep breath. For others, it might be 3 medium length breaths. R for reflect on your emotions. Try to assess what your body and your mind are telling you. And Y for keep the youth's best interests in mind. Remember, we're in the role of educators. How can we use this moment as a learning opportunity? You can even build try as a classroom mantra with your students when we see them getting frustrated. Let's try that again. Let's try it in a different way. Let's try it how we do it at this school. This is a nice quick mantra that, once taught, students can learn to use on their own. You can even use try as a social emotional strategy for students. The student adaptation could be T for take 3 deep breaths, R for reflect on your emotions, and Y for you've got this. This provides the benefit of teaching students that mistakes and frustrations are a part of the learning process and that we need to keep trying in order to make progress. So let's get back to our example of Jason and the teacher. Let's see where we could introduce a neutralizing routine. Christine, if you were the teacher, when would you have gotten frustrated with the student?
Probably right when he said he didn't have it with them. And at that point, I probably should have just said, I'm sorry you don't have it, and here's the choice. You can try to find it and turn it in, or you can do it again. And instead of staying there and arguing with him, I could have just walked away, taken my deep breaths, and maybe come back around. Or offered to talk to him later after class even.
Absolutely, absolutely. So to repeat, when developing neutralizing routines, we want to train teachers to use 3 strategies, including delaying their decisions until they can think clearly and rationally, reframing the situation so that you can think of the student in a different light, and taking care of yourself by using a calming strategy that could potentially be modeled for students. So to recap, in order to de-escalate students as they enter into a crisis, including engaging us with power struggles, we want to intervene early in the escalation cycle, especially when a student is calm, triggered, or agitated, to reduce the chance of an all-out crisis. We want to identify how we can rearrange the environment to remove or provide distance from what may be triggering a student. We also want to identify ideal replacement behaviors to teach students how they can get access to the things that they want or to escape the things that they want to escape from in ways that are socially appropriate. And what we learned today is we want to develop neutralizing routines to reduce the chance of us making snap judgments based on our own elevated emotional states and implicit biases. When we think of Tier 1 universal approaches, we want to make sure to teach all staff about the importance of neutralizing routines and teach them explicitly how to use them. For more information, be sure to check your Getting Started workbook, section 5B. Thank you for taking the time to learn how to use neutralizing routines to reduce the chance of us contributing to students' escalation. Individually, identify 2 to 3 examples of neutralizing routines you could use in your classroom. As a team, discuss and share the neutralizing routines you all came up with. Then create a school-wide neutralizing routine that includes some common language and phrases for staff to use. And finally, develop systems for providing professional development and coaching support to your staff as needed on this content. Be sure to take time to update your action plan as appropriate. For more information, please check pbis.org, nepbis.org, or contact your trainers. Thank you.